be doing a ranking of the photo modes in video games. Photo modes in video games basically are the game lets you take out a camera and take a picture of what you're playing in like different angles without all the menu. So, to capture your experience while playing the game. Well, there's different ways to go about it, and there's different ways to do it. Some suck, some don't suck, and some do other things. So, gonna be photo modes are basically my thing. I love photo modes in games, so I have very strong opinions about them. Okay, so we have VR chat. VR chat's photo mode. It's so it does some things right, but the things it does right are hard to screw up. It's in VR, so it lets you put the camera wherever you want, which is pretty cool. But it also has some really damn crappy menu systems. It's so convoluted and confusing. It's either because I'm dumb or because it's just so weird to use and I constantly get confused. So I'd rather just not use any of the filters or anything because I'll forget I have them on and go to look at the photos and realize they're very bad. And when you grab the camera, it doesn't just set to a point like you're grabbing an object. It just sort of grabs wherever you put it. So it's weird to position the camera sometimes. And also I always forget how to get it from the menu. So I have to rediscover it every time. So it's not too bad, but it's the white trash of photo modes. It's it works, but you don't really want to use it. It's kind of okay, but not the best. So it's meh. It works for what it is, but I honestly just forget it's there and don't use it. But it's more good for just taking a picture of something funny, not setting up really nice photos. Now the next, for Smash Bros. Ultimate, I honestly forgot there was even a photo mode. I totally forgot. And I had to search through my mind's archives to be able to remember that you can take pictures in the game. Because it's a fighting game. When are you ever going to set up a nice photo in a fighting game? You're trying not to die the entire time. When am I going to remember to take a photo because Bowser's looking cool? That being said, I did have to go back and actually try it out for the game, and it's actually not that bad. It's got some cool filters, it controls right, but I just don't see why it's there. They didn't add Waluigi, but they added a photo mode. Get your priorities right. Still cool for what it is, though. It actually controls really nice and has really nice filters. Now, the next one is not a very huge game, and it only has photo mode on PC. But I'm going to bring it up anyway, because it's one of the few games I know has a photo mode. So, the camera it does have in there, it's not really meant to take, it does take pictures, but it's just, it only works on PC, and that's, the one I'm going to use, the version I'm going to use the least. But it is kind of cool. My only complaint is that I don't ever really know if the photo was actually taken. For some reason, whenever I click the trigger, I'm did it actually take a photo, or is it not working? But it does work. The only thing I don't like is that it has, these weird handles on the side, so when you tilt the camera, it's like a gyroscope or something, but I don't think it turns off, so it's hard to position the camera in creative ways. I think it's more for taking videos, but for what it is, it does work. It is kind of cool, and it's a pleasant surprise that it's actually there. So, I did like it. I think it was a good photo mode. So I'm going to put it there. For what it works. It's simple. It doesn't got a lot of features, but, it works for the kind of game it is. Now, for Animal Crossing, I use that photo mode so much, and maybe because I played Animal Crossing too much, but I don't think that had the correlation. It's so good, and they updated recently, not too long ago, where it's like from the character's point of view. It's so cool. You can put it on a tripod. The only minor complaint, though, is that you're limited to where you can position the camera, but that's mainly just because of the limitation of the game, because you can't tilt the camera, like, anyway, but that's just because of how the game works, so I'm okay with that. But it's got cool filters, it's got a cool, easy way to set up. You can take some really cool photos with it. I used it less for, like, artsy photos, really, but I still used it a ton, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a blast to use, especially when you would go to Harvey's Island, which is a place in the game completely dedicated to photo mode, where you could set up sets in a house and take photos in there. I'm like, my god, this is like photo mode heaven. There's just so much things to do with this photo mode that I love it. So anyway, that's gotta go S tier. One of the top tier photo modes. Mostly because I just used it so much, and because it's just that good. Now the next one, Genshin Impact. I played a little bit of Genshin Impact, and I played a bit of it so I can do it with friends. And the photo mode it has in there is like bare bones, like getting a C+ on the test. Like, you just barely pass. Like, it's barely acceptable for a photo mode. Like, it's so close to not even being a photo mode and failing. It just, like, barely makes it. Like, there's, like, no features to it. The way it controls is so janky and, like, weird. It's so weird trying to set up the camera and annoying. I use it anyway occasionally because it's there, but I feel cheap using it, and it feels worse than just not taking a photo. And it has, like, a blur feature, which is kind of cool, even though there's only one, like, little feature there. But it doesn't work inside, which, I don't know if that's how blurring works. But it just, like, when you try to use it inside, it just blurs everything. So, I'm like, yay, you did it, but just barely, you know? It's like when you cheated on a few answers, and you just barely made it pass. Like, you studied enough just to pass the test. That's basically what you got. So, that's a C. That's like a C for Genshin Impact. Don't even get me started on GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, photo mode. What is wrong with this thing? Do you know the insane process it takes to take a photo in GTA Online and get it in your hands? It's so overly convoluted, and what the frick is wrong with this thing? So what you have to do is you have to take out the photo, your camera, by going into your phone and taking it out, taking the photo, which has its own set of problems. But then once you take the photo, you have to upload it, well, not trying to die, of course, because it does this weird thing that you're in the photo mode thing, you can't move, you take the photo, and then you can start move, and then the health bar starts loading, and you can't exit out to the little icon finishes, but then it brings you back into photo mode, and you can't move again. But once you finally do that, then you have to leave the game. Once you leave the game, you have to go back onto the game with the GTA 5. Not online GTA 5 normally. You have to go into settings, go into like photos or something, find the photo you do want from there, upload it, then close the game so your computer runs right, go into online, go into the Rockstar confusing website, make sure you have an account, and once you're there, you have to log in, and you have to go and find your photo. Which, sure, doesn't sound like a whole lot, but just think, in between all these steps are giant-ass loading screens that take forever, because GTA 5 is a 13-year-old game that still takes 3 hours to load. Like, what is wrong with this thing? Like, why can't I just take a photo in GTA 5 online and click upload and then go on to online and see it? Why do I have to leave and go to GTA 5 offline and then go back to online when I want to go keep playing that? Like, why is it so convoluted? It comes to the point where I'd rather just take a screenshot so I don't have to go through this whole convoluted process. Even when I do decide to go convoluted process, I'll take the photo, keep playing, forget it's there. And why would I even want to take a photo? Because the camera mode is that bad. To keep it realistic, you can only take a selfie like an idiot, or you put it out in front of you, but it's only taken for scenic photos, and I don't even think you can, like, barely move. It's so hard to move around in that thing when you're in photo mode, so unless you line it up perfectly, it's damn near impossible to do it, and you can't take photos of your characters unless it's in a selfie, which... good luck getting a cool, epic-looking photo of you looking to the sunset when you're taking a photo like an idiot. Like, why would you ever, like, what is wrong with this thing? Like, it's so bad. And all the filters and stuff it has on it are, like, meh. Most of it's confusing, the menu system. So, like, I'd rather just take a screenshot and actually use this photo mode for one of the best-selling best games of all time. Like, is that really the best you could do for a photo mode? That's like F tier. I would make a new tier just to rank it even lower, because it's that bad. But Rec Room, on the other hand, our next one, is actually pretty good. It's got some diminishing feature, like, for the fact to use filters, you actually have to, like, you have to, like, pay for them, or you have a limited amount of them, you have to earn them, and then they're so convoluted to actually turn on. You have to go to your box, your menu, go into filter, skins, add, to the point where I just don't use it unless I'm taking a very specific photo. But overall, I actually really like it. It's one of my favorite photo modes. First off, it's in VR, which automatically makes it like 10 times better, because you can line it up anywhere, and you can use it at any time. So, like, when you're just walking around, you could be in a cool room and be like, oh, I'm going to take a photo of me standing in front of the sunset. I've just taken so many cool photos in it. I personally really like it. They've also added a new feature where you can print them out later. So if you're walking around, you took a cool photo, you're playing with your friends an hour later, you can show them the cool photo you took, which personally I think is really cool. You can also get skins for the camera to, flex about how rich you are. And you can, there's like a whole bunch of other things you can do. There's a camera stand for it. You can zoom in and out, which actually takes for really good photos. It's a little, like, weird to go into the menu system. I wish it was just, like, on the sidebar, easier to access. But I still really like it. It's one of my favorite photo modes in video games, because I just use it so much. Oh, I didn't even mention all the shortcuts just to open up the photo, to get the camera out really quickly. Because in VR, like, something will just really quickly happen, and you have to take a photo of it, which Rec Room is perfect for. You can, like, put your hands in front of your face and make a cool gesture, instantly take it out. If you favorite it, you can reach behind your back and take it out automatically, or you could do a gesture with one hand to open it up through a quick menu system. Like, it's just, like, so easy to use and quickly to get. I love it so much. And also, no matter where you're standing from, you can see yourself, because when you stand in front of the camera, a screen will open up so you can see yourself, and the screen gets bigger the farther away you get. It's just so, it's like the best, it's the best thing ever. And also, they have a share camera to take videos, so it's not limited to things, so it has to do both. There's one for photos, there's one for videos, as all things should be. It's perfection. So that's S tier for me. That's one of my favorite photo modes in video game. It's just so good. Now the next one, Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man PS4, the next two. They're basically the same thing. They didn't change much between games, but honestly, why would you? It's just that good. I love Spider-Man PS4, and to be able to take cool damn photos just makes it 10 times better. There's so many great features, customizations, like filters and aperture and all this crazy stuff. It's confusing to use at first, but once you get a hang of it, it's just so good. And you can quickly get in there, and you can take the photo. It's just so good. It's such a good photo mode. The photos come out so nice. This game lands perfectly for photos because the animations are so good and the game looks really cool. So it lends yourself perfectly to photos. And also, all the features are just really cool. There's tons of cool filters and all that different stuff. There's even, in the newer games on the PS5, you can change the suit while you're doing it. So if I'm in a photo mode, I'm like, hey, the Iron Spider suit would look cool. I can go switch to the Iron Spider suit if I'm doing something else. And I can change the expression. It's just so good. Like, it's just top tier. Like, that's, like, what you strive to be in a photo mode. The only problem, though, is after you take a photo, you have to screenshot it after you turn all this stuff off. And then if you can't do them back to back, because then you can see the screenshot notification, but it doesn't affect me too much. Also, big complaint is that there's a black border after you take the photo, which you go in and cropped out in the settings, which is just confusing to me. Like, is it something I have in settings? Or is it like TV? Or is it just how the game works? Like, what is this? Why is there a black border around it I didn't ask for? It's also, like, pretty hard to export the photos. You have to have a friend to share the game with, like to share the photo with, and then download the app to save it from the app. There's no just easy way or like to export the photos. It's just like really hard and convoluted. And I didn't have any friends who played PS4, so I had to message them to a random person who doesn't play the game anymore, who I don't even know, so to actually be able to export the photos, because my PS4, for some reason, had one person already preloaded onto it, so I'm hoping they don't just log in one day and say, I sent them like 100 Spider-Man PS4 photos and be like, I don't even know this guy, but it is outweighed by the fact that it takes some really good photos. So, it's a tough one for me, because I want to put it in S rank because of how epic the photos are. But just for some of the problems, I'm going to put them both in A rank, because you can take really good photos. It's just a little hard to export them. But overall, definitely one of the top tier photo modes. Something to strive to be for most video games. Now, Mario Odyssey. To be honest, I just rarely used it. I don't know why. It's really good. I do wish they had a little more filters, but the ones they do have are really good. They actually have a bit of them, but they also don't have too many like overlays, like and stickers to put on. But still really cool. I really liked it. The game looks amazing. And for an open 3D platformer, it lends itself really well to photo modes. Like, it looks really good. And there's some really good photos you can take. Like, I just forget it's there. I honestly don't even, like, it will just be there and I'll forget. But it's still really good. So I'm going to put in A rank because it's good. I just forget it's there. Like, it's nothing wrong with it. It lends itself to some really good photos. Especially, you can get some cool depth mapping. So, it's still really good. I just forget it exists. I didn't use it that much, but whenever I did, the photos came out really nice. So, yeah, overall, this is my tier list of photo modes. It's okay if you had any different opinions. It's alright to be wrong, because I'm right and you're wrong. It's okay. But overall, they are pretty well matched out. Most of them are pretty good, except for GTA 5. You can go for it yourself. What is wrong with you? Why is your photo mode that bad?